Disclaimer: before we begin the video, let's set a common ground first. The official solo leveling manhwa is Timeline A, the anime adaptation is Timeline B, and the game is Timeline C. These names aren't officially confirmed by the studios, I'm just using them so we don't mix up the timelines we'll be talking about. So, what's up, Internet? Today we'll be taking a deep dive into the character Hwang Dong-suk and trying to find out why he was a killer, who killed people in dungeons, and what exactly led him to this path in his life. We'll talk about his early life, criminal activities, his relationship with his brother, and his ultimate downfall. The first time we're introduced to Hwang Dong-suk is when Sung Jin-woo was looking for a gate to pay the month's rent. Upon meeting him for the first time, the guy didn't look shady at all. In fact, he was portrayed as someone who runs an independent business of dungeon runs. In case you aren't familiar with the solo leveling universe, these dungeons contain crystals known as mana crystals, which are a source of income for the hunters. Hunters around the world can legally sell these crystals obtained from dungeons. Coming back, we see Hwang Dong-suk and Jin-woo getting acquainted before the latter can begin his dungeon run with the former squad. Now we've all seen the part where the raid goes well, and the guys discover the boss room, which is filled with mana crystals. However, it is at this point we all learn Hwang Dong-suk's true intentions. How he traps people in the dungeons and kills them without witnesses so he could mine the valuables from the dungeons later. And this is the exact thing that we're going to find out, why Hwang Dong-suk used this method of earning money. For understanding how Hwang Dong-suk reached here, we need to understand where he came from. Hwang Dong-suk, along with his younger brother Hwang Dong-soo, came from a very unfortunate childhood. Dong-suk lost both of his parents at the age of 15, and both the brothers were taken by their grandmother. However, that wasn't the case for long, because not long after, their grandmother too died of a terminal illness. All of this wasn't enough. Dong-suk later found out in life that the person who killed his parents wasn't even properly punished for their crimes, and neither were the brothers given a proper apology. Not only that, the other major fact that Dong-suk found later in life was that his grandmother had stopped her treatment and put that money towards the upbringing of her grandchildren. This was the news that broke Dong-suk emotionally. That day he even cried behind his brother's back so that the latter couldn't hear him. Now the brothers were completely alone in this cruel world, with nobody to take care of them. With their loneliness, poverty, and facing other kinds of hardships, Dong-suk's pessimism soon transformed into distrust towards the world. A couple of years passed, but Dong-suk still continued to hate the world because their financial condition didn't seem to improve a bit. During this time, he even used his younger brother Dong-soo as a punching bag, which the latter hated to his core. As the brothers reached adulthood, they realized that they can never be financially independent unless they start doing something illegal. This thought became the foundation for many of their illegal schemes. Because of growing up in a cutthroat environment, Dong-suk had developed a good amount of street smarts. His younger brother too became a part of these schemes. Their plan basically worked in two parts. Dong-suk started coming up with endless ideas on how to trick people, and Dong-soo was in charge of carrying them out. For once in their life, the brothers got a taste of money and didn't have to live in poverty anymore. Dong-suk kept getting more experienced in how to trick people with flashy words and blame everything on them once he had the money. With each successful victim, he kept increasing his reach. But the brothers didn't know, if you extend your reach so far, someone is bound to catch you, and that happened with the brothers as well. Dong-suk was soon captured by the police and spent a good amount of time in jail for all his frauds. Many of his victims came to see him each day with tears of rage in their eyes. However, Dong-suk never showed any remorse. He kept thinking that they were weak and foolish. They were victims because they were poor and powerless. All the rage that Dong-suk had felt towards the society that turned its back towards him and his brother had left him guiltless. Soon after finishing his sentence, he once again returned to the world of crime and began looting to survive. He seemed to be doing well for himself and his brother, and seeing as life gave the brothers a gift, ideal places for crime began springing up, the gates. Though ethically it was a cruel belief, there wasn't anyone to correct Dong-suk. He couldn't easily shake the allure of evil. His first thought after the gates appeared was that the world could finally move in the way he wanted. Prior to his awakening, Dong-suk was already caught for insurance frauds pertaining to accidents and disasters from magic beasts, and taking money for teaching illegal awakening lessons to children dreaming of awakening someday. After becoming an awakened being, he started a new method of earning money, taking bait into the dungeon with his team to abandon them and reap the maximum gain. Everything kept going smoothly until one raid, his younger brother Dong-soo tagged along. Dong-soo wouldn't listen to his brother's plans because after his awakening, he was a much stronger hunter than his brother. While Dong-suk was only a C-rank hunter, Dong-soo was an S-rank hunter. During the raid, Dong-soo knew that he could easily kill the boss and went to do so, whereas on the other hand, Dong-suk went to mine the crystals. After the jobs were done, all that was left was to carry the loot and exit the dungeon. However, this is where things change for the brothers. Dong-soo didn't want to share his loot with the other hunters, so he proposed to kill the other hunters right there and then. Dong-suk was shocked upon hearing this, and the other hunters even begged for mercy. But Dong-soo didn't seem to hear their cries. He knew that no matter what happens, nobody will be able to prove a crime that has happened inside a dungeon since there won't be any evidence after a dungeon has been closed. He carries out his plan, and after exiting the gate, the brothers sell the story to the surveillance officer outside the gate. The officer buys their story and lets them go with their loot, registering it as a death by monster case. After the officer leaves, Dong-suk angrily snaps at his brother and asks why he did that. Dong-soo doesn't show any remorse and says that this is good because now they get to have more loot for themselves. And since they're high-ranking hunters, surveillance officers too don't doubt their capability to exit a dungeon alive. Dong-suk doesn't seem even remotely impressed by his brother's actions and decides that it's time for them to move their separate ways. Upon hearing this, Dong-soo calls out his brother for being a coward just because the younger punching bag brother is an S-rank hunter. Dong-suk informs that he has been in touch with a private strike squad and is going to join them. Dong-soo angrily bids him farewell and goes to start his new life in America as an official S-rank hunter. Life progresses in this manner until one day, Sung Jin-woo joins Hwang Dong-suk's squad. In their dungeon run, he notices the squad being a well-coordinated one. Just like all the times, he abandons Jin-woo in the boss room and exits the dungeon. When he returns to loot the crystals and their corpses, he finds that Jin-woo has killed the boss and the dungeon will close any moment now. He orders his henchmen to kill Jin-woo and his friend, but little did they know how strong Jin-woo is. Jin-woo kills everyone and escapes the dungeon with his friend carrying all the loot. They sell the same death by monster story to the surveillance officer, and he buys it as well. This marks the end of the road for Hwang Dong-suk and his illegal ways of earning money and using people for his benefit. One may argue that he followed this path in life because of his childhood. Others may say that he had plenty of chances to redeem himself, but he didn't. Do comment your opinion on this video. I'll say one line to the video: villains aren't born, they're the result of their choices while in pain. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care and subscribe to Romanix Gaming.